Welcome to Meeting Maggie, where we value each person's authenticity, whether it be over Starbucks or stargazing, and from fandom to fanfare. Season 2 of Meeting Maggie is all about the secret sauce of life. And as we discuss, they meet me, Maggie McGregor. Have you ever met someone and known that they were born to lead? That's Paige Cognetti. Paige Cognetti, Mayor of Scranton, moving our city forward to a brighter future. Hey everybody, I am Maggie McGregor and I'm here on the Meeting Maggie podcast. Today, I have the opportunity to sit down with architect Peter Bohlin. Peter, thank you so much for joining me today. Tell me a little bit about your background. I guess start from the beginning.
Well, I was born in New York, in the Bronx, and lived there basically into the 6th grade when we moved to Connecticut full time. But before then, we always went to Connecticut in the summers, where my mom and uncle had bought a little house that we lived in. It was right next to a trout stream. So I loved trout.
Oh, really?
I still do. So then as I said, we moved to Connecticut full time, and I got a scholarship to a school up there, Salisbury. Went there. My dad was asked to come back to the company because it turned out he was right. They were being mismanaged. And then he moved that company here to Northeast Pennsylvania. And after Rensselaer, where I found architecture, and within a week I knew I had found my life. I also knew that I could, whatever I did, that would be it. Before that, I always thought, well, at least I have trout. So then I went to Cranbrook, which is a great school after RPI. And I had my first professional degree, but I wanted to keep growing. And Cranbrook in Michigan, it's an extraordinary place for the arts, Cranbrook Academy of Art. And so, and it was in those days quite affordable. So I went 2 years, and it was amazingly good.
Oh, yeah?
And I learned so much. I learned because I could set my own, as an undergraduate or a graduate, a typical graduate school, in architecture, you're given projects to do almost always. So you have no flexibility to follow on paths and thoughts that you were interested in. But when I got to Cranbrook, I could do anything. So I did about 30 in 2 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah, well, it was a treat. and that book is documents some of the people who were there. Yeah.
What was your favorite part of Cranbrook?
Just working on being among, I believe, in the typical school of architecture, maybe in a class there's 1 or 2 people that are special or have particular abilities. At Cranbrook, I'd say almost all of there were only, as architects, only like a dozen or 10 or a dozen. And only one that I can think of that really wasn't that good.
Oh, really?
And the rest were, rest were highly motivated. And so you learn a lot from others, and they learn from you.
Mm.
And so That was quite different than the undergrad, than the first school.
Okay.
First school had a lot of engineering. Cranbrook is Academy of Art.
Okay.
And that is outside of Detroit.
Okay.
So after that, the question was, what was I going to do? And I had driven around the country thinking about that and decided to come back here and do a house for my parents because my dad had moved the company here.
Oh, to Scranton, the Scranton area, or Wilkes-Barre?
Yeah, to Mountain.
That was my next question. Yeah.
So I did a house for my mom and dad there. And then maybe 8 years later, when my dad retired, and they would move to live in Florida in the winter, but in Connecticut, northwestern Connecticut in the summer, I did a house with them. Such a treat, such a pleasure. But that got me off on being an architect, and we started in Wilkes-Barre, which is most people would have considered somewhat irrational because there's not maybe the opportunity in this region as opposed to, let's say, one of the big cities. However, that first house was published in the New York Times.
Oh, wow.
The second house that you've seen was also published on the cover of the New York Times.
Oh my gosh.
Those things and others triggered continual opportunities.
Okay.
And as those developed, we opened several offices, one in Pittsburgh, then in Philly. And that's Savinsky and Jackson, they were principals there.
Okay.
And then opened an office in San Francisco, and that was because of Steve Jobs and hiring us. And you figure if you're going to work with Steve, you better really be there.
Yeah, that's a good reason to open an office.
Yeah, and we also had an office in Seattle.
Okay.
Yep. And so, what a pleasure. And that was Bill Gates.
Okay.
He hired us to his house.
So can you tell me about that project?
Bill Gates's?
Bill Gates' home, yes.
Well, it was really interesting. In that case, I teamed with a dear friend of mine who had while he was at Penn, he worked in our office here.
Okay.
And after that, he went out to the West Coast. And we're still good friends, as you would expect. And so he and I won that house together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they started with a list of about 25 firms.
Oh, wow.
And now they're to us. So we've done that, and I think I put an image or two in there in that booklet, I forget.
Yeah.
And so that's how that happened. And while we were working on that, Steve Jobs called and asked if we would do work for him. It had nothing to do with our being working for doing the house in Seattle. It had to do with Steve and what he was looking for first at that point for his movie company. And so we did a building for them.
For Pixar.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
So when I imagine what Bill Gates' home must have been like, there must have been incredible specifications for technology. Could you tell me about any of them?
Well, you mean you'd be dealing with technology that was on the edge
Yeah.
sometimes? Well, here, I could give you a good example of that.
Okay.
The Apple Store on Fifth Avenue in New York, we did twice. First, we did it, and it had a rhythm of 5 sheets of glass. It was a square. And that's because we couldn't push the technology any harder than that.
Oh, okay.
While we did that, the technology was improving slightly. And so we redid it in three spaces rather than 5. So now it's been 3 for years, but at first was 5 for several years.
Okay.
So there's an example of the and living with the technology as it was shifting, and we were part of that shift.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's
so
great to work with engineers who have that capability. In this case, we had a British engineer who we really loved to work with.
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
When I was in school, Bill Gates was the richest man. So to like a school child, like that equates to most successful, even though they're not the same thing. What was he like to work with?
He was fine.
Mine?
I like him.
Yeah.
I would say I was fonder of working, or that's a good word, with Steve Jobs,
Oh, okay.
because he was a little more mindful about those design issues. But Bill Gates is a terrifically nice and a great guy, and had been raised to be a really great guy by his mom and dad.
Okay.
And Steve was a great guy. Yeah. Lucky to work for both of them.
Yeah.
But then along the way, we've been doing such a mix of things, from always houses, but also of usually large scale, but there's some very tiny ones too, or really small. But also there have been range of houses. There have been some apartment towers in more recent years, like the ones in the Northwest. And they were really pushing their technology pretty hard again, but not it wasn't as technically demanding as doing those glass buildings. Um, and over the years, we've done a good deal of work at universities and also corporate things and parking garages and all of that. So now I've left the firm, which I always intended and everyone intended, and I'm 88. And so I left it last October when they finished buying me out. But I didn't stop. So now I'm working on a small house and refinements on a job in Vermont that I think we talked about.
Yes.
I'm working on just starting a house in Allentown.
Oh, okay.
But for a client who's from here but lives in Allentown.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one we've just finished in southwestern Michigan. And then one in Palm Springs. And that's for a friend who's a woman who had lost a leg in an accident when she was much younger. And so that's been a real treat. And what I do in a case like that, I'll always team with another architect out there, but one that's not that large a firm, but capable. And so, and there are a number of others. Yeah. Had another little spec house just got last week with a builder who I've worked with on on Susan McRannan's house is just finished except for some landscape that will go on for another year or two. So he has asked me to do a little spec house on this nice little site he bought that had a beat up old abandoned house on it in a nice neighborhood outside of Philly. And so we've just starting that. And that'll be a pleasure because, I'm not sure of the scale, but I think it's going to be not too large.
Okay.
And we'll do a really nice, not too large house.
Mhm.
And it'll be done on spec, kind of. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What inspires you on these projects?
In my view, doing good things, what I think are good things. And they have to do with how things have to do first with place. Is it a natural place? Is it an urban place? Or anything in between? They're all different. And so you've really got to think about that. And you think about where the sun is and the wind is and what the climate is, all of that.
Yeah.
Great. And then you're also going to be thinking about people. We're all similar, but we're not at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Each of us is different. And so you've really got to understand the nature of people if you're going to work with them.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you surprise them with thoughts after listening to them for a while. And so I love that. I love that interaction. And then you are going to think about how you make things and how buildings will tell you a bit about how they're made, whether it's a wood frame, or in this case, we found the existing columns from this building that was once a church on the Underground Railroad. And so we've exposed them again, and they tell you about what was here.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are all those issues. They have to do with budget and all of that, and you just work your way through. That's how I think you do buildings. And now I'm doing ones of that scale.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to do a big one because I just have me. And a friend, Kay, who works with me now and then, who's not an architect. And then maybe associated firms who will carry on the more detailed drawings, but I'm wishing to have an effect on those and to look over their shoulder.
Mm-hmm. Occasionally you design a home down to the utensils. Can you tell us about that?
Well, I've always loved to do that, and I'd love now to go back and do that a little more often. But looking back on my life, I wish I had done more design of products and furniture.
Mm-hmm.
Now we do furniture, but not to the level that I would have. But I'm not sure I could have done it all.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I love it. And of course, when I was at Cranbrook, there were people there designing furniture.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Do you still get back to your trout?
To my what?
Trout. You said you love trout.
Yes. But I haven't fished this last year or two. For one, because I use a walker,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not sure I want to slosh around with a walk.
Doesn't sound like a great idea.
Although I give it a try.
Yeah.
No.
Do you have any other hobbies?
Sally.
Sally?
Sally's my main hobby.
Yeah, we have Peter's lovely wife, Sally, here on set. We are lucky enough to have her today. She's absolutely lovely. Sally's a great hobby to have.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, I'm very fortunate.
What is like your favorite architectural work that you've seen, that you've done, or that you've seen of another architects?
Well, I wouldn't want to brag or there, so I won't mention mine.
Okay.
The other day I gave a talk at Falling Water, which Franklin Wright did in Western Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably of the last, but it was built. It was actually built the year before I was born.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would be on the list. There are a number of other buildings done by people like Mies van der Rohe, Eero Saarinen, who died early, and a great many others. Bucky Fuller, right? Who did the domes, among other things. You know, the geodesic domes. That was Fuller.
Okay. So you've done massive renovations since you met Sally. Massive renovations on what was Sally's home. What's your favorite feature, architectural feature or homeware feature of this home that we are lucky enough to be in Peter and Sally's home today?
Well, I think we've managed to do this so it doesn't feel like we tried too hard. I mean, that's the key. You got to try hard, but it shouldn't seem like you tried hard. That's a nice challenge. And not only the house, but the landscape. We've bought the house next to us, which is another house on the Underground Railroad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we just filled the back part because it was falling down and it wasn't part of the original quite. We bought the field and we've dealt with it legally so that it's protected and can be developed.
Okay.
Yeah. And any number of things like that. What a pleasure. Like our swimming pool doesn't show, you have to find it.
Okay.
We'll do that before you leave.
What are some of your favorite architectural features of our area?
You mean buildings or park? Whatever.
Yeah, well, I guess both.
Yeah.
Let's start with buildings.
Yeah. Well, in Scranton, we did the addition to the federal courthouse.
You told me that, yeah.
Some years ago, yeah. And I've always thought well of that.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite like cafes or delis that you frequent yeah?
Let me ask Sally that too. But now and then I enjoy visiting the the deli.
The deli, Waverly Deli?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're right down the street.
Yeah, I love that.
Uh-huh.
Sally could answer that better than I could, I think.
Yeah.
But there are a number of good restaurants.
Yeah.
They're fun.
Yeah.
And you've grown up here, so you know them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fantastic restaurants. Yeah. Are you a big Starbucks guy? Do you order Starbucks?
Sometimes.
Sometimes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the white eggs.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Kevin, our talented cameraman today, videographer, knows that I usually start with that question. What is your Starbucks order?
Oh, well, in my case, it would be probably white eggs and something good to drink.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are you a fan of the pumpkin spice latte?
I don't think so.
No.
And what I drink mostly, though, is iced tea.
Oh, okay.
Not sweetened, just straight.
Mm-hmm.
I love iced tea.
Do you have a favorite iced tea?
Yeah, right there.
Pure Leaf? I think I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
But
one.
because you're right, they don't taste quite the same.
No, they don't.
Yeah. I'd have to check to see what that is. I just get those.
I think it's Pure Leaf.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. What are some of your other favorite things? Iced tea, the Waverly Deli, braid architecture, trout. Maybe do we have a fifth?
Oh, there are other things. The great forests,
Boris.
great streams,
Yeah.
great there are great buildings that we've run into. I'm not sure there are that many here, but there are good ones.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a real pleasure to visit. So, and you got me thinking about where one eats. Yeah.
Is there a project that you think about that you never got to do that you wanted to do?
Well, they're all different. The
Yeah.
people are different.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but technically, the site will be different. And so now and then one turns out to be exceptionally pleasurable or I feel good about, really good about. But I think that's true of larger buildings too. Like a few days ago, on the night after the presentation at Falling Water, we slept at one of our projects, which is done at Falling Water. It's called iMeadow. I'd like to be there again. It's been a long time. And I'm not sure I ever slept there. And it was such a pleasure. And it reminded me just that we did a good one there, and I was very satisfied about it.
That's great.
And that was not only due to me, but to Billy James, who he and I did it together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and that's one of the pleasures of the people you work with, because I think architects can rarely do something absolutely themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You always have teams or other people involved. I am now actually doing some of these things basically myself, which is a real pleasure. But even here, sometimes there'll be someone else involved, and I'm very interested to find out what I can learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is a little off our current topic, but do you have any favorite books or TV shows that you watch or enjoy?
Well,
are you a big TV guy?
To watch news.
News.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll tend to do that each day.
Yeah.
And also, there are books. I read mysteries.
Oh, okay.
But mysteries, they're mysteries, and then they're mysteries. And I'm reading a very good one now, and so it's a pleasure. Yeah.
Do you recall the one that you're reading currently?
Sitting over there.
Sitting over there.
It's right on that end of the book shelf there.
I'll have to get the name on the way out. Do you have a favorite movie?
That I've seen so recently.
Or of all time?
Sure. But it's interesting. I haven't gone to movies much lately.
Really?
Do you still go?
I do. I like it a lot.
What have you liked lately?
Well, I have some nieces and nephews, so I have some nieces and nephews. So they're very into like the superheroes, and they loved Wicked when it came out. Virginia, my nieces, a whole class went together to see Wicked, and I joined them. And that was lovely. Do you have grandchildren?
Hmm?
Do you have grandchildren?
Yes,
Yes,
we have 3.
that's great.
And one is just out of college and working in Washington now.
Oh, that's exciting.
Another is in college, and he's about halfway through. And another is still in high school, but they're all very bright, but he's quite bright.
Really?
And it'll be interesting to see where he takes his life.
Do you think there's any future architects?
Probably not.
Probably not.
No,
Maybe artists? No,
probably not.
probably not.
Not in that group. But boy, they are bright people.
Oh,
So that's a real pleasure. Yeah. And we see them quite often.
that's great.
Yeah.
What is one of your favorite things to do with your grandchildren? Have you been able to show them the trout?
Well, we chat away,
Chat away. Yeah.
and sometimes I show them stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So that's a pleasure. Yeah.
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 Well, everyone, it has been such a pleasure to be welcomed into Peter and Sally Bohlin's home and to do this interview today on Meeting Maggie's podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bill Gaughan, Lackawanna County Commissioner, always taking the high road and getting the job done.